In today's tutorial, we'll be taking a look at how to create an advanced glowing stroke text animation within After Effects. Without using any external plugin, we'll be creating this beautiful advanced glowing text animation using the default presets and effects provided by After Effects. Without much talking, I would like us to jump straight into the tutorial. So we're going to start by creating a new composition. I'll give it a name. Then I'll be going for the 1920 by 1080 standard. Then the background color will be set to black. Then I'm going to make sure the duration is 7 seconds. Then the next thing is I'm going to my layer. I'm going to create a new solid. This will be my background layer. Then the color is also black. Then I'm going to also make it comp size. Then I'll click OK. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to select my horizontal type tool. Then I'm going to type out the word neon. Then I'm going to type out the word neon. Then I'm going to align to the center. Then under the character, I'll be using the font copper plate. Style is bold. And let me adjust the font size to about 330. Then I'm going to align back to the center. Then one more thing I notice is I need to adjust the anchor point. The anchor point is not in the center, so I will hold Command or Control my keyboard while I double click on the anchor point tool to bring it back to the center, just like that. Then I'm going to select my horizontal type tool. Then I'm going to change the font size to about 100 pixels. Then I'm going to type out text effect. And I'm going to try and just bring it just below the neon text we created earlier. Then I'm going to align horizontally, just like that. So I want to also do the same for the anchor point. I'll repeat what I did earlier for the neon text. Then I'm going to reduce the font size to about, I think, 63. Then I'll also adjust the tracking just to make the text spread a little bit. So I'll be changing the tracking to 675. Then I'm going to align back horizontally. Then I'm going to select my selection tool and I'm going to drag it up just to close up on our neon text. Then I'm going to select my neon text. I'm going to right click, create. Then I'm going to create shapes from text. Then I'll repeat the same thing for the text effect. I'll right click, create shapes from text. Then I'll delete my text layers. I don't need them again. I've already converted them to shapes. So I'll select my neon outlines. Then I'm going to make sure I disable the fill. Then I'm going to change the stroke color to, I'll use a kind of like cyan color. Yeah, just like that. I'll click OK. Then I'll change the pixels, that is stroke width, to 7 pixels. I'll select my text effect outline. I'll disable the fill. Then I'm going to change the stroke color to about purple. Then I'm going to change the stroke width to about 3 pixels. I think I need to make the text effect color a little bit brighter. Let me try and pick the lighter version of this color. I think right about that point I'm okay with that, so I'm going to click OK. So we are done with our text design. So the next thing is I'm going to select my neon outline. I'm going to open it up. Then I'm going to select transform, add, and I'm going to add an effect called trim path. So I'm going to open up the trim path. Then I'm going to add a keyframe on the end property at the beginning of the animation. Then I'm going to change the value to 0%. Then I'm going to move my time indicator to about 2 seconds. And I'll change the property back to 100% just to create keyframes between those time frames. So I'm going to move my current time indicator to about, let's say, 5 seconds. And I'm going to add a keyframe. And I'm going to move my current time indicator to, let's say, 6 seconds and let's say 15 frames. 6 seconds and 15 frames. Then I'm going to change the end property back to 0%. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the neon text effect. Then what I'm going to do is under the train multiple shapes, I'll leave it at simultaneously. Then I'm going to select the text. I'm going to press S to bring out the scale property. Then at the beginning of the animation, I'm going to add a keyframe on the scale property. Then I'm going to move about, let's say, 2 seconds and 15 frames. Then I'm going to change the scale property to 94%. I think that's okay. So I'm going to press U to reveal my keyframe. Then I'm going to select all my keyframes by clicking and dragging over all the keyframes. I'll right click keyframe assistant. I'm going to easy use all the keyframes for smooth animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all my keyframes and I'm going to paste them on the text effect outlines. I'm going to select all my keyframes, edit, I'm going to copy. I'm going to bring my current time indicator to the beginning of the animation. I'll select the text effect outlines, then I'm going to paste the keyframes. So let's have a quick preview. So we have successfully copied the keyframes we created for our neon outlines. We've already copied the keyframes on our text effect outlines, just to save us the time of creating all this keyframe animation again. So I'm going to press U to reveal all my keyframes while selecting the text effect outlines. Then I'm going to zoom in. Then I'm going to try and adjust the keyframes. So what I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to adjust the speed of the whole animation. I think I want the text effect animation to be a little bit slower than the keyframes we had on our neon outline. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust the keyframes and make it a little bit let me say a little bit slower. So I want the text effect animation to start right about 1 second and 10 frames. So I'll be moving the whole layer to 1 second and 10 frames. Then I'm adjusting the last keyframes so it won't be cut off. So that's what we are trying to do here. So I'm going to adjust the keyframes accordingly, as you can see. So I've readjusted the speed of the text effect. Okay, I think everything looks good now. So let's have a quick preview. As you can see, the text effect outline animation is a little bit delayed, and this is what we actually want. So I'm going to try and zoom out, and I'll select the neon outline. Then under the effect and preset, then I'm going to search for the glow effect. Then under the stylize, I'll click and drag the glow effect on our neon outline. Then I'm going to change the glow threshold to 71%. I'll change the glow radius to 62. Then I'm going to change the glow intensity to, let's say, 2.1. So I'm going to select the effect, edit, and I'm going to duplicate the effect. So I'm going to adjust the settings on the duplicated effect. I'll change the threshold. I'll reduce the threshold to about 40%, the glow radius to about 17. Then I'm going to change the glow intensity to about 0.2. So a little bit subtle. So I'm going to select the two effects. I'm going to edit. I'm going to copy. And I'm going to select my text effect outline. I'm going to edit. Then I'm going to paste. So we've already added the same glow effect we added to our neon outline onto our text effect outline. So let's have a quick preview. Then I'm going to make my neon outline and my text effect outline 3D layer by checking those icons. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my neon outline, my text effect outline. I'm going to press U to reveal all the keyframes. So I'm going to select the first two keyframes under the scale property. I'll go to the graph editor. So I'm going to slowly ease in and slowly ease out the animation by just dragging in the influence of the speed, just like that. So the next thing I'm going to do the same for my neon outline. I'll select the first two keyframes under the scale property. Under the graph editor, I'm going to drag in the influence of the speed to slowly ease in and to slowly ease out, just like that. So I'm going to exit the graph editor. Then I'm going to have a quick preview. The speed graph we adjusted has actually made our animation a little bit more smooth and making it more cool. So I think we are done with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to layer new. I'm going to create a new camera. I'll be creating the 35mm camera with the default settings. I'll click OK. Then I'll open up the camera. Under the transform, I'll bring my current time indicator to the beginning of the animation. I'm going to right click on the position. I'm going to separate dimensions. So I'm going to add a keyframe on the X, Y, and Z position at the beginning of my timeline. I'll change the X position to, let's say, -130. Then the Y position, I'll change it to 1160. Then the Z position, I'll change it to -1380. So I'm going to move to about let's say 2 seconds. Then I'm going to change the X position to, let's say, 960. Then I'm going to change the Y position to 540. Then I'm going to change the Z position to -1860. So I'm going to move my current time indicator to about, let's say, 4 seconds. I'll copy the last keyframes we created there. Then I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to move the current time indicator to, let's say, 6 seconds and 20 frames. Then I'm going to copy the first created keyframes. Then I'm going to paste it where we have our current time indicator. So I'll select all the keyframes. Then I'm going to right click, keyframe assistant. Then I'm going to easy ease to smooth out all our animation. So I'm going to select my first two keyframes just like that under the graph editor. Then I'm going to slowly ease out the animation by dragging in the influence of the speed just like that to make it slowly ease out. So I'm going to select the last two keyframes too under the graph editor. Then I'm going to drag in the influence of the speed just like that to slowly ease in. So it will slowly ease out and also slowly ease in. So let's have a quick preview of what we just created. Beautiful. As you can see, we now have a more smoother and beautiful animation by just adjusting the influence of the speed. Adjusting the speed graph has actually made our animation to be a little bit more smoother and I don't know the right word to use now, but you can actually see the difference when we actually adjusted the speed graph. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to layer new. I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. So I'm going to, under my effect and presets, I'm going to search for CC lens. Then I'm going to click and drag on my adjustment layer. So at the beginning of the animation, I'm going to adjust the settings of the CC lens. I'm going to add a keyframe on the size. Then I'm going to change the size to, let's say, 53. Then I'm going to change the convergence to 70. Then I'm going to press U to review my keyframe, as you can see. Then I'm going to move the current time indicator to about 2 seconds and 15 frames. Then I'm going to change the size to, let's say, 160. Then I'm going to move my current time indicator to about, let's say, 5 seconds and 15 frames. I'm going to add a keyframe. Then I'll move my current time indicator to about 6 seconds and let's say 20 frames. So I'm going to change the size to, let's say, 70%. I'm going to select all my keyframes. I'm going to right click, keyframe assistant, and I'm going to ease ease to make my animation more smoother. So let's have a quick preview. As you can see, we now have a beautiful kind of neon text animation. I think I need to adjust the property of the last keyframe there. I think I'll change it to, let's say, 53. Yeah, 53 is nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an effect called noise. Under the noise and grain, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag on my adjustment layer. So I'm going to change the noise amount to about 10%. So let's have a preview of our final animation. As you can see, we've created a very beautiful glowing stroke text animation within After Effects. I'll just say creating text animation in After Effects depends on how creative you are. If you really enjoyed this tutorial, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you really like content like this. Thank you for staying to the end of this tutorial. Till we meet next time.